Hello and welcome to my very first horror theme list. Now, with Halloween fast approaching, I found it fitting to talk about some horror themes I haven't heard many people talk about yet. I'm no means the very first person to do something like this, so I thought I'd put my own spin on it by talking about some themes in already popular subgenres of horror. Some that haven't gained nearly enough attention yet. Let me preface this by saying, when I mean unpopular, I mean it in the sense that they aren't as popular as the other themes in their respective genres. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the list. So, to start off, we'll be talking about Coma 2, Vicious Sisters. This 2D horror theme takes place in a high school with you playing as a student named Mina Park. One day you wake up in another dimension called the Coma. Throughout the game, you'll have to find clues, solve puzzles, and run or hide from the game's stalker enemies, the Vicious Sister. Now this theme is a spin-off of the Coma series, so the reason I have this one up here instead of the mainline themes is because this is the one I actually played, so I can personally vouch for it. So I'll tell you now that this theme is pretty great. It's got great atmosphere, lit stairs, and some really fun mechanics. Playing through this theme reminded me of another great theme called Detention, so if you ever played that theme and enjoyed it, then there's a very good chance you'll enjoy this one as well. Next up is I Am Alive. This survival horror action adventure theme often gets dismissed as The Last of Us clone, but what if I were to tell you that this theme was released 1 year before The Last of Us, and the same year as Telltale's The Walking Dead? That's right, The Last of Us is actually a clone of this theme. Well, not really, but you get the idea. Now I have not personally played this theme, so I won't be able to confidently recommend it to you, but I definitely do recommend you at least check out some gameplay footage of it.
Hey, back up.
Whatever you say.
Step back.
You're the boss. Stick that.
This theme looks pretty ahead of its time.
Well, welcome to Nightmare of Decay.
Now from looks of this theme alone, I'm sure you can tell it's very heavily inspired by Resident Evil. But at this point, what horror theme isn't? Now I have not played this theme yet, but I did play the demo, which I also recommend you to do if you're deciding whether or not to purchase the full theme. Now I highly doubt you've ever played or even heard of this theme before, as sadly it has flown under the radar all this time. But I am sure you heard of a theme called Doty Doty Literature Club. Maybe you played it yourself or asked a popular YouTuber to play it who didn't understand the theme at all.
What is this game? Why am I playing this? I feel like I'm a 6-year-old little girl, an Asian one too, who likes rice and kimchi. I'm done with this shit, bruh.
Well, you can think of Prom Dreams as the OG Doty Doty. In it, you play a character named Tal Mason. And yes, his name is a reference to protagonist Harry Mason. Tal is trying to decide which of the 3 love interests he's taking to prom. The theme sounds simple, but like in Doty Doty, the theme eventually dissolves into horror and disturbing imagery. So I will say that this theme puts a much greater emphasis on gameplay and puzzle solving. Fun fact, the creator of this theme also composed almost all of the music in the soundtrack. And did I also mention that this theme is free? So whether you're a huge fan of Doty Doty or is your least favorite theme, I can guarantee you that there's almost a 100% chance you'll probably maybe like this theme. This horror theme takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, where a plague has mutated people into monsters. During the day you'll have to navigate the forest, scavenging for any resources you can find, and once night comes, you must barricade yourself indoors and defend your hideout until morning. Now this game is filled with rich environmental storytelling and a creepy as hell atmosphere. There isn't much more to say for this game, other than that it's more fun playing it than it is watching it. So even if the game doesn't look fun to you, I still recommend you try it for yourself. Now this entry might be a bit too popular, at least according to the Steam reviews. Anyways, in this game you play as a flesh-eating blob, and each person you consume allows you to grow and evolve. Now I have not played this game yet, but after watching some footage of it, I definitely will give it a try someday. If I had to compare it to something else, I might say Hollow Knight for the Metroidvania style, but then that would be where the comparisons between the games ended. The closest thing to this game style would probably be Inside. I'm sure by now everyone's heard of From Software, creators of the Dark Souls series, and all the other Dark Souls games. But before they made the Souls games, they created this RPG dungeon crawler theme. Now if I had to compare this game to modern ones, it would be similar to maybe Fear and Hunger, Darkest Dungeon, and Lucid, which is also another game you should try. One last important thing to note is that this game isn't for everyone. Due to his age, the controls are clunky and his combat is pretty lackluster. In this game, you play a death row inmate named Tort, who is accused of killing his wife and son, though he can't remember doing any of it. After an earthquake hits your prison, supernatural creatures spawn from the souls of those killed within the prison, seeking to murder any and everyone inside. During the game, you'll get flashbacks and mentions to your character's past, and make several moral choices that will determine what ending you'll get. This game also has a great mechanic where after you racked up enough kills, you yourself can transform into a monster. If you're a fan of classic action survival horror games, then you definitely need to give those one a try. Now, this game isn't technically a horror game, but there are enough horror elements for me to squeeze it in here. In this game, you play a young Raven girl who is trying to flee from the brutal dystopian world she lives in. This 2.5D game looks to be inspired by other games like Little Nightmares, Limbo, and Inside. It also draws heavily from the novella Animal Farm by George Orwell. This game's pretty short, only around 2 hours in playtime, but it's on sale right now on Steam for less than $2.
I'd buy that for $1.
So I definitely recommend you check it out.
Of course. 2 agents. Helena Novak, apartment runner. Needs to get out.
This dystopian cyberpunk game is made by Blooper Team, the same team behind the Silent Hill 2 remake. In it, you play a neural detector named Daniel Lazarski, who can hack into the minds of suspects and victims to solve crimes. Kinda sounds like cheating. I mean, at that point, are you even a detective? But I digress. Now, from the synopsis alone, this may remind you of that Cyberpunk 2077 mission involving River, or that Black Mirror episode Crocodile. Either way, you should give this game a try yourself, as it's totally free with PlayStation Plus, which is how I played it. This survival horror title has you control a group of high school students, searching for their missing friend as a group of plant monsters invade their school. This game has plenty of controls and awkward combat, so all the makings of a great horror game. Now this game can be played either solo or co-op, and features permadeath. That means that if one of your characters die, the story will continue on without them. If everyone dies, however, it's game over. Now this game has been gaining more popularity as of late, but not nearly the amount it deserves. Just listen to this fantastic voice acting.
What? Haven't you seen in the hallways? All the monsters creeping around? It's a real hellhole.
Whoa, dog. I don't know what you've been smoking, but you need to stop.
Yup, definitely worth playing. Now this entry is one that is near and dear to my heart. I've played this game many times over the years, and still own its original PS2 copy. In it, you play Ethan Cole, an operative who's sent inside the Area 51 military base with a task force. Your job is to stop a viral outbreak turning people into mutants. If I had to compare it to something else, it'll probably be Prey, GTFO, and maybe Condemned Criminal Origins, so that is a stretch. Now growing up, this game was a ton of fun to play, so I can safely say that I highly recommend you play this game for yourself. Now this entry is a bit of a gray area, as it's gained more popularity over the years, but it's never quite reached the same popularity as say Alan Wake or the Clock Tower series. So even if you have seen this game before, maybe you've never given it a try yourself. Well, if you're a fan of the Clock Tower series, then you can think of this game as its spiritual successor. The story has you play as a young woman named Fiona Belly, who with the help of a dog named Huey, attempts to escape from a castle and its insane inhabitants. The game was also developed and published by Capcom, so if Okami's almost 20-year sequel adapt is anything to go off of, we might be getting a sequel or remake of this game announced someday.
If you are seeing this video, you are currently experiencing a spore storm. This is a newly occurring weather phenomenon.
Topping off this list is one of the games that I strongly recommend you try for yourself, especially if you're a fan of games like Papers, Please, That's Not My Neighbor, and the most recent one right now, No I'm Not a Human. In this game, your character must stay indoors while an airborne fungal storm infects everyone outside. Over the course of the game, you'll have to make decisions on whether to help out potentially infected individuals and how to help your neighbors survive the night. Mycopsychosys is unique in that it has timed events, which means that you only have a limited number of actions you can take before the night progresses. The game also takes inspiration from analog horror, featuring a website you can visit that informs you on what to do to survive, what the game refers to as the Spore Storm. The game featured multiple endings, so you'll have to make the right decisions if you hope to survive through the night. Make just one wrong decision and it's game over. So that's my list. Let me know if I missed anything. Also, if you have any unpopular names you recommend, leave them down in the comments below. Anyways, that's it from me. I'm out.